Good morning, everyone. The opening verse of this week's Torah portion says, Vayakel Moshe, and Moses gathered et kol adas b'nei Yisrael, the entire assembly of the children of Israel. And the question is, what's the difference between a congregation, Vayakel, he congregated, and Eidah, an assembly? Both names are used as descriptions of the Jewish community. But in the very first verse, you have both names. Moshe congregated the assembly of the children of Israel. And furthermore, until this very day, we more frequently use the name Kehillah, a congregation, rather than Eidah, an assembly. And our rabbis explain a very fundamental difference. You see, the word Eidah comes from the root word witness, Eidim, or Eidut, to testify. There's two types of communities. There's a community that's born out of a shared experience, a shared past. A group of people experienced something together and they were forged in a bond through that experience. Think of the Jewish people. They had been through slavery in Egypt. They had experienced the 10 plagues, the exodus from Egypt, the splitting of the sea, the revelation at Mount Sinai. But the question is, what's going to keep them together in the future? Yes, they have this tremendous bond. But what will keep them united as one? Therefore, the Torah says, here is my Torah, and keep the Torah that God gave you at Mount Sinai. And this vision for the future, to create a world, a society, according to the values and the principles of the Torah, this will be your common bond, even as Jews are dispersed all over the world. We'll always be connected through the Torah and our sheer destiny and vision for humanity. This is true in families as well. Sometimes families share a joint home, but then each child grows older and goes their own way and they don't remain connected. Why? Because they were not given a shared vision as a family. Yes, they have past experiences that connect them, but they don't have a future vision. And therefore the Torah says, yes, we are an Eidah. We have past experiences as a nation. But more important than our past experiences is our Kehillah, our congregation. How do we unite in a single purpose and mission and direction and vision for our lives as Jews? When you think about the Jewish people today, you can have Jews all over the world. But yet we have a shared vision, and therefore we've always remained connected, not through our past, but through the Torah, which unites us in our vision for the future. And despite thousands of years of exile and dispersion all over the world, we always remain united and connected to one another. And this teaches us a very fundamental lesson, that without the Torah we cannot be a Jewish nation. Despite all the past experiences we've had, it's not enough to talk about our past and persecution and anti-Semitism. We have to say, what is our connection going forward? Why am I connected to my fellow Jew today and tomorrow? And indeed, that's why right after this word Vayakel, we get the commandment of Shabbat. Because when you think of Shabbat, Jews all over the world join together globally every week in Shabbat, a taste of tranquility, a taste of the world to come, a vision of utopia, of what the world could be like with peace and harmony and serenity. It's a story told that these rabbinical students, Chabad rabbis, were in Alaska and they went to the Aleutian Islands. And they came into a school and they were talking to the children and they asked, is anyone here Jewish? And this girl said, yes, my mom is Jewish. They said, well, if your mom is Jewish, you're Jewish too. So they went to visit the family. And they gave the girl a Shabbos candle. They said, every week, Friday night, greet the Shabbat with your lighting a candle and saying a blessing. And then they said to the girl, you know, Shabbat enters into the world in Australia, the earliest time zone. And then it travels over the globe. And the last time zone is the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. So when you light your candle as a little Jewish girl here in Alaska, you're the last Jew in the world to bring Shabbat into the world. And until you light your candle, Shabbat has not entered into the whole world. So remember to light your candles every week. The family stayed in touch with the rabbis. And a couple of months later, the mother wrote a beautiful letter to the rabbis and said, you know, I have to tell you what happened last week. I forgot to set up the candle for my daughter to light and myself. And suddenly my daughter came running to me and said, Mommy, we have to light the candle. Shabbat is coming. And the whole world is waiting for Shabbat to enter. That's the idea of our connection, that each one of us knows that the little candle of light we create helps illuminate the whole world and connects with Jews all over the world who bring the light of Torah, the light of Judaism into the world. That's why we are a kehillah, a congregation, not just an eidah, an assembly. Have a wonderful, beautiful week ahead.